how to implement effective local positioning for your clients, how to acquire more clients, how to effectively and efficiently acquire clients for local positioning, and how to automate your work and simplify it using artificial intelligence and automation in order to. I will soon show you how specialists who use the Localo tool do it, and without further ado, let's go straight to the tool. After purchasing a plan, which I will discuss at the very end and tell you which plan to choose and how they differ. The first thing you need to do after registration and selecting it is to add your clients that you are positioning to the tool. I suggest doing this easily through automatic import. Just navigate over here, add the Google account where you have your clients' business profiles, and simply import them automatically into Localo. Everything is safe. Localo will not perform any actions or make any changes, so there is nothing to worry about. This is all done just to simplify the entire addition process for you, so you don't have to do it manually for each client. Of course, if you want, later your clients that you imported to Localo are in the inactive tab, and at this moment you can decide what you want to do and for which client or clients. We will be talking about positioning today, and at the end I will mention all the categories that are included in the subscription you purchased. This will help at the stage of activating business profiles to make appropriate decisions regarding specific companies. You will certainly and without a doubt learn this while using the tool, and I think you will learn it quite quickly and you will find it beneficial. And now I make the decision that I want to include this company to Localo. For example, I want to position it, so I select it and I can click activation here, but I can also click several companies and perform a bulk action to activate them all at once as well. For now, I will not be doing that. However, it is a significant convenience for specialists who simply have many business profiles. I simply click activate, just choose that I want to precisely position this company, and I have the information that one place has indeed been activated. Now I go here and this company is already added, and what I need to do at this stage is to go here. I will click more here and I have the keywords that are added, and Localo automatically adds the keywords. At this stage, at this moment, what I need to do as a specialist, what you need to do, is to verify these keywords, adding new ones, carefully removing those that do not fit, and verifying how it looks here. A new keyword is added very easily. You click here, add a keyword, you choose the keyword, search for the one you want to add. Here, Localo will also prepare a few additional suggestions. Then you click here to add them. For example, we give dental and click add keyword. We already have the data selected here, and then we click see current position, and the position map is created. The position map is queried. There are different position maps. Some are round, some are smaller, some are larger. I will very soon show you how to set them up in a comprehensive manner and how to read this position map. It looks like this. There are points on the map from which Localo checks how visible the company is to customers in this region, and in this region. And you can see if the company is in the first position for this keyword in this region, and in the third in this region. And here, by the way, you see something like +10, +9, +8. This means that compared to the previous report, it has improved, meaning in the previous report, the position was 13. Here, on the other hand, it has worsened because the position was probably first. Here it has improved as well, here too. Of course, you can turn this on or off. It works nicely when we want to take a screenshot here and send it to the client to show them how it has improved. As for these circles, that is the difficulty. We can also read about the difficulties here. In short, it tells us how hard or easy it will be to achieve high positions for this client in this specific area. Here, it shows that it will be easy everywhere. We can also track the history of keywords, meaning the history of this keyword and details about its usage over time, to see all the historical position maps and jump to any of them very quickly, very easily and compare them in various contexts. We can also easily and conveniently click share here and share the link to this position map with our client with just a few clicks. He will be able to see this, and he will also be able to see how the visibility of his competitors' companies looks. We, as specialists, can indeed also check and thoroughly verify this here. As for the position map, that would be all. I recommend sharing it with clients. I recommend taking screenshots and sending them to clients because I know very well that it works. It has a wow effect for them. The next thing to do in the location, after adding a client, is to suggest enabling business profile protection. In short, there is a lot of information here, so I refer you to it. In short, it looks like this. If a competitor changes something in this business profile, for example, the company name or address, Localo will simply revert that change, regardless of when it happens, whether at night when you are sleeping, or during the day, during work, when you have meetings with clients, and someone changed something for that client. So you can save a significant amount of time and gain such trust, confidence, reliability, and assurance because of this. Another thing, we can manage this level of activation and add tags that will help us later when we have many of these business profiles and we are in this view. Thanks to these tags, if we add them here, we will be able to filter them faster in the filters and simply reach the companies we want to reach. This is especially useful if you have several people on the team and you can simply assign a business profile to a specific person on the team, or for example, if we manage many business profiles and divide them so that we handle some on Monday, others on Tuesday, and others on Wednesday, or we simply have a lot of them and want to divide them somehow. So it works very well, and we actually built this with our users who are very satisfied with it. Here, once we have selected the keywords and verified the positions, the position map, tasks to be completed for this company will appear for us every week. Localo will analyze the profile of this company, analyze the industry and the competition. It will show us tasks such as suggesting to add an additional category to this company profile, which is like this. And of course, at this moment, I cannot do this because I do not have access to this company profile. However, if you had it, there would be a publish button in Google here, and Localo would do everything for you, meaning it would make that change. Here we can see that, as we observe, there are many assignments and tasks, and new ones consistently appear every week based on the analysis. Another thing worth mentioning here is the competitors that are currently thriving, highly competitive, and well established in the market. In short, essentially, it appears to be that we have a list of competitors that has been selected. Of course, we can definitely pin them, or perhaps not if we choose, so that they appear at the very top. And every week we receive a summary from artificial intelligence about what happened in our industry, what the competition was doing, and besides that, we can check the actions of our competitors, track what they did, when, and how it also flowed, just like here regarding their position and visibility. Which competitors started to act more, which ones stopped acting. We can track all of this very nicely here and benefit from the AI summary. In addition to that, another thing is that we have an exceptionally comprehensive and detailed summary of all the keywords that are added, all the visibility for those keywords, and we have a simple summary here of whether the position has gone up or down on average in the recent period, or whether visibility has gone up or down. Similarly, here are the keywords we have added and what is happening with each keyword, how it looks over time, and how many times they are searched for on a monthly basis. We can also simply click here and just manually refresh the position map if needed. There is easily no problem with that at all, without any issues at all. On the dashboard, we also have a publication calendar and reviews. I won't show the reviews at the moment because I don't have access to the Google account. However, reviews appear here that need to be responded to. If we do not respond to them, tasks will appear here that will tell us you need to respond to these reviews for the client. And in the publication calendar, we can see when the publications are scheduled. For example, if we schedule a post, schedule an offer, or schedule the publication of photos, we will see here when they are to be published or when they were last published. In the Content tab, we have photos, posts, and offers. I changed the company profile here because I have access to the Google account, so it will be easier for me to explain and show. In short, it looks like this. In this place, I can see which photos have not been published, which photos have been published, and which are scheduled. At the moment, I currently have no scheduled photos, but I can click on this. I am now adding photos that I want to publish, which I plan to publish on this company profile. Here, the thematic information shows me that these photos are not correct, because Localo checks whether these photos are okay, whether they are worth adding, whether they are of high quality, and whether they fit the type of business and category. Of course, at the end of the day, we ultimately make the decisions, but here the local will recommend not to add them. I understand why I shouldn't add them, because it is a completely different business, but for this material, I'll show you how it works. And once I have selected 7 photos, I can click on the automatic publication of these photos. This means that Localo will carefully, thoroughly, and meticulously analyze when it should publish the next photos and in what quantity. And for example, it will just let us know that I can even click this, and I have information here that Localo will publish these 3 photos on the 23rd. Then it will probably select the next ones and inform me when I plan to publish the next photos. And here, I can already clearly observe on the publication calendar that, as you can clearly see, the photos will be published on this specific date, the 23rd. I can also delete them here, of course, and I will do this at this moment to ensure that these photos do not get published. Of course, at the moment of planning these photos, we can set them manually. We can manually set it to publish 1 photo daily, or 1 photo weekly, or 5 photos weekly. Here we have a lot of flexibility, and we can track how the publication of these photos looked over time. It looks somewhat similar, as we can click on Create Post here. We can choose to publish this post, for example, on our Facebook profile as well. We simply add a photo. Here we have information on what keywords we should use to create the post, and we have artificial intelligence to which we can give some suggestion. This artificial intelligence will create the content of the post for us. Then we choose the call to action here, and we specify when we want this post to be published, or we can manually select from the calendar that we want to publish on that day at that hour, and we click. Here we already have additional information that the post has been arranged to be scheduled and will be published. At this particular moment, I will definitely delete it because I absolutely do not want this post to be published then. And here, in addition, we also have offers that we can publish. Here we discuss the position map, keywords, and competitors. We can also reach them from this place. We also have a tool for managing reviews, which means we have a poster for collecting feedback. We can create a poster for our clients, which they can use to collect feedback more easily and effectively. We can print it for them or simply send it and inform them to print it themselves. We have templates for responding to reviews. As for responding to reviews, I will show it shortly, as there is a separate function for that. However, we can essentially create something like this, where we develop a ready-made response that we will use, in essence, to reply to reviews, both positive and negative. We have a place where we can see all the reviews we have responded to, those we haven't responded to, and interestingly, those that have been removed from our business profile by Google. I will also show how to respond to reviews on a larger scale for all clients in a more comprehensive and detailed manner shortly. However, we have artificial intelligence here, and this artificial intelligence creates responses to reviews for us very quickly and efficiently. We can then click on Select Suggestions, add a response to the system by the user carefully and appropriately, and that response will be sent to Google in a timely manner as intended for processing and analysis and used. We also have a section with statistics. In the statistics, we have several analyses. For example, we have the profile views, how many times the company has been viewed, how many times in the last 30 days, and additionally, we can see on a monthly, quarterly, or yearly scale how it looked, what the visibility trend of the company was. We can see this in bar charts and also verify it additionally, whether on a yearly scale or, for example, on a monthly scale. And we can also obtain several other additional and valuable pieces of information here. We have a Citations tab. Here we can get detailed and comprehensive information about which citations our client is added to and which ones we still need to add our client to, which we have lost, which we have of course put in ignored, and which are in the processing tab. It looks really nice here that if I absolutely add a client to Instagram, TikTok, and X today, and definitely click here that I did it, it will indeed appear here in processing. Currently. This means that Localo will essentially check when this entry will be indexed by Google and will be visible and accessible on the internet, because only from that moment can it affect the visibility of the company. Thanks to what? We will know precisely when a given business directory started positively affecting the visibility of that company in a measurable way. We can check everything here by status. We can hover over the status and see how that status has changed over time. There are indeed numerous and various changes here because I made these changes for testing purposes as well. But thanks to this, I can show you nicely how it looks. Since we are currently in active mode, we can simply click on this and we can go to the entry of this company in a particular directory and see if there is anything else to do or not, and determine whether or not. If it turns out that it needs improvement, we click here to move it to do, and it will let us know if we still need to improve it. However, if there are any directories missing that we want to create for the client, or if we created a directory that is not here, we can simply click this button and easily add it manually and efficiently to Localo and track its status here. In the next place, we can create a website for our client with one click based on the data from their company profile on Google. These websites look very nice, very attractive. We definitely strive for them to be quick and efficient and optimized, so I absolutely recommend taking them here and trying to create one. Here, I go to an example of this page and it looks like this. It can look even better. I recommend simply creating them. There are reviews, a gallery, a blog, a FAQ section, an address, and a lot of important and useful information. I simply create this page with a great click by clicking here to publish, and it costs nothing. Next, we have the comprehensive audit process, which provides more detailed and in-depth data analysis, where we can thoroughly review and examine, for example, in a detailed chart, how the length of descriptions for specific companies looks and compares. We can also see regarding reviews, how many reviews individual companies have and how it looks concerning the top 10 we are competing with. Well, it turns out that the closer to the top positions, the closer to the first positions, the more reviews the companies have. So here is the audit in this document, where we can quickly and thoroughly review and comprehensively verify a variety of things. When it comes to managing this company, optimizing the operations and strategically positioning it in every aspect, this is really everything we would need. If we have more of these additional companies and features, this is a dashboard where we can navigate very efficiently. We have information here about which subscription category a specific company profile belongs to. We have information here on whether the protection of this company profile is enabled or not. Of course, I recommend enabling it for every client. We have information on how many tasks. There are tasks to be done for this client, how many reviews have been created for us for this location, how many reviews are also to be replied to, etc. So we can easily and quickly navigate between these company profiles and more. We can also verify what their visibility is, what their position is, and whether this visibility and position have increased or decreased recently. Everything here is very easily and quickly accessible to us, literally at our fingertips, so we don't have to go into the company profile to find out how it operates, how it is doing, whether it is going up or down, literally. In this section, we will be exploring some of the more advanced features that we will cover, which are quite interesting. One of the advanced features I would like to show is the advanced position maps. To enable advanced position maps, you need to go to adding keywords and click here on advanced. What this is about is that we can set where in the location the visibility of the company should be checked and whether this position map should be round like all these round ones. This may not be the best example shown here, but here is a great example, meaning this position map should be round and created automatically. Alternatively, we can set a position map of 3x3, 5x5, 7x7, and choose the area where we want to check the visibility of the company. This is indeed a fantastic thing for specialists to set the region, really set the region in which we want to be in the first position, in which we really want to promote our client to the first position. And this can be one area for one client and a different one for another. Ultimately, everything depends on the arrangements with the client and what we specifically want to achieve at that moment and for that specific client. Another great feature for agencies is sales mode, which is known to be incredibly beneficial, extremely useful, and highly advantageous. It looks like this. The sales department can input the specific industry and city here, such as New York or Los Angeles, and click to find potential clients. We can examine in detail how it looks in this particular scenario where Localo sorts. Of course, we can also export this. As expected, Localo sorts the companies here by the lowest position, and of course we can see their position map here, how it looks. And at this very moment, we can take a screenshot and then call this client, not that client, but call this potential client and potentially tell him that his position is low, show him clearly that there are indeed other companies that are much, much higher and that we can help him. We can increase his position, increase his visibility in the company. And then he says, okay, great, awesome, I want to use your services. And then you simply establish, or we establish, cooperation. Another thing that looks somewhat similar is research mode, but here we conduct an in-depth analysis of a specific company in a detailed manner. We simply search for a place, enter a keyword, and create a position map, and we use this. We use it. You know some company? Well, we can go into this one, for example, and use it. When a potential client contacts us and asks about our services, we are able to create such a position map. At Localo, we do this for free. Please fill, and then we can send a hyperlink to the position map and share it. We can simply send a link, embed it in the offer, and say that your company's position is low. The visibility of the company is also low, and we are able to improve it. In fact, if you don't believe that your company's visibility is low, you can go into this position map and check for yourself. Usually, it works in such a way that the conversion simply increases. It is much better. Another such pro tool for specialists is a place where we can respond to customer reviews for our clients. This tool is specifically designed for professionals and experts in the field, providing a dedicated platform where we can respond to customer reviews on behalf of our clients. We don't have to go through each client in the dashboard separately. We just go here and click for the artificial intelligence to create a response for us, and we select it, see how it looks. It creates, right? So the artificial intelligence generates responses to these reviews, and we can just click to select suggestions and respond to them. We can also simply review all the reviews deleted by Google and see for which clients they were removed. We also have other features that are definitely worth visiting here. For example, you can remove the Power by Localo information on the Localo pages that you can create for your clients. You can easily add your own logo and configure the tool that we have seamlessly embedded on our site for checking the visibility of the business to ensure maximum visibility and effectiveness. It works very well in a very effective manner and already shows what it's about and clearly demonstrates exactly the purpose it serves. You can embed a tool like this on your website and allow your clients, or rather potential clients, to easily check how visible their business is, completely free of charge, on your site for free. And now I will enter here. Let's say this is my business. I am that potential client. I am waiting here for keyword suggestions, and I also have information on how to choose these keywords. So this is definitely a convenience for business owners. I choose that it is dental and see the position. And now a potential client who hasn't contacted you yet sees, okay, this is my business, this is the keyword, and this is my visibility, meaning I am completely invisible to my clients. What should I do? You can set your own CTA here, for example, your own content. You can, by clicking this button, easily transfer the person who will be checking this to the contact form on your site. Currently, with us at Localo, it redirects to registration. However, you can redirect that client to the contact tab or, for example, to send an email to your company, such as the support team or perhaps the sales department. Alright, we discussed the features. We discussed the dashboard here, and I think we can now move on to the end. Unless something else comes to mind, then I'll add it. The end, specifically about how our pricing appears to be, and I think the best thing I can do is simply go to the pricing subpage in Localo and explain in detail how to manage it and what it looks like in terms of client management, and thoroughly. Regarding the pricing and individual activation levels, we have optimization, monitoring, automation, and artificial intelligence features. So I think it will be easiest for me to explain this right here on the pricing subpage. The point is that in the highest package, meaning if we assign a company to optimization, we have these functions within it, functions that will help us with positioning, functions that will help us optimize the company's profile. These include, among others, audit functions, among others. These functions are extensive and detailed, providing comprehensive benefits. Task functions and citations, including various important and relevant ones and other related elements. In addition, furthermore, we have all the capabilities and functions that are from the lower activation levels, namely monitoring, automation, and AI. In our most basic subscription plan, we currently offer 5 user profiles. Customers have the option to purchase additional profiles if they need more than the initial 5. This allows users to customize their plan to better suit their individual requirements. Then we have the monitoring activation level, and within it, everything that is in monitoring and AI and automation is included, but it no longer has those functions that help us with positioning. And we have here a detailed position map. We have comprehensive tracking of our company's current position, tracking of competitors' current and potential positions, providing a thorough overview. We have statistics, however. We do not have tracking of competitor actions. We do not have tasks. We do not have checking the quality of images that we want to add to our company profile. So, this is a nice alternative option to add companies that we have already positioned, which are high to our portfolio. Then we have the last activation level, which is certainly automation and AI. Here we can add a lot of companies, and we can add, for example, we can add company networks here. We can add franchises with which we have signed a contract only for managing reviews, for publishing images, publications, posts, or for creating websites. And we can plan 50 posts for these companies, set their automatic publication, and that will be enough for us at this activation level. We have the ability to plan and schedule the release of images. This process is quite straightforward and visually resembles other similar tasks you might be familiar with. Here we also have protection for these company profiles. So if they have been positioned once, and for example the competition is doing nothing and the company is high, we can also enable this profile protection here to prevent the competition from doing anything to us. And that's how it looks in essence, in a concise manner. I hope I explained it well, that I clarified it well. In the very near future, certain aspects will undoubtedly undergo transformation, of course, for the betterment of everyone involved. The local area will develop tremendously. So what the possibilities are here, in terms of potential developments, changes, and shifts, what will happen here in the near future? I definitely think it will absolutely exceed all our expectations. So I encourage you to stay updated. I encourage you to continuously monitor what we are implementing, what we are communicating, and how it is changing. Because a lot will change. But what is best, what is most important for you and for me as well, is that the improvements in Localo, which are the features we are implementing, are being done with you. As we progress, it is essential to focus on the enhancements and upgrades in Localo, which are being developed with your needs in mind. We listen to you, verify it, and check what you say, how you perceive specific features, what you are missing, and what you need. And based on this, we make changes. And among other things, this is how the new view in the application was created, which is completely different. What was there not long ago in the past was just disorder and confusion, and what is now, in the current scenario, this new pricing, this new view, these new dashboards that are prepared here, is something absolutely amazing, something that is truly a breakthrough in a sense in the field of technology. It will only get better. It will only be more efficient. There will only be better features, guidelines, reports, analyses, etc. That's all from my side. Thank you. Bye.